Hello, I'm Amanda Knowles, and I am the director of the North Seattle College Art Gallery, and I am here today talking to Nicole Pietrantoni to talk about her work in the show as well as just checking in with her at this time. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm usually in Walla Walla, Washington, where I'm an associate professor and I teach printmaking and book arts at Whitman College. But currently, I'm on sabbatical for the semester, and so I'm living in Galway, Ireland. I got here on January 1st, and uh, hope to be here through June. So that's where I'm at right now.
Interesting time for this. How are you holding up?
It's been quite stressful because I had lots of plans for my sabbatical show, and I was at a residency, and then the residency had to close due to COVID. So I was kind of left scrambling and have been sort of trying to figure out how to continue with my sabbatical. I mean, it looks really different now. It'll just change, and what I make will change. So there's that part of it, but then there was also the sort of being an American abroad right now is a little scary with the travel bans and not having certainty about will we be able to get back or will there be flights flying, in June. And so far we've opted to stay, hoping that things get better between now and June. So yeah.
Will you tell us just a little bit about the work that you have in the show? It is a really beautiful and large piece that takes up a lot of the gallery space.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for having me in the show. It's an honor to be a part of it. And I really love the concept that you came up with and was so excited to be in it. So that particular piece, which I'm glad made its way to your gallery, is called Implications. And it's actually a collaboration with my husband, Devin, who's a poet. And so we often work together on some large scale book works. And so that was one that was inspired. I'd had a Fulbright, it feels like ages ago now, in 2010-11. I was living in Iceland for a year. But it wasn't until I think 2014 when I made that piece. I've found that sometimes travel takes a while to sink in and like to make work about a place. And so I was interested in a lot of my work deals with landscape and place, but I was specifically interested in thinking about climate change and how we visualize it, but also how we read about it in sort of documents. So the piece is a giant panorama. It was an image I had taken in Iceland, kind of these calving, melting glaciers. And then each column of that sort of giant panoramic image, which is almost life-size from what I saw, it folds up into a book. Each one's an accordion book, and each book is a text excerpted from a document on climate change. And so it kind of moves between being an image. It can also be read as a text. And Devin did some excising where it can also be read as a poem. If you kind of like read through it and look through it, he's kind of like highlighted some things to come out as a poetic sort of reading of the climate change document. So it's kind of a multifunctional piece.
I love learning a little bit more about it because I didn't know about the poem. And so
yeah, it's really long and dense. It was like a 400-page document from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So it's like inserted and embedded into the image. But, to an average reader, it is kind of like, to me, it was like gobbledygook, reading through this like dense scientific language where for me, really, it's like the image is what tells me about like what I feel and see happening in the world. So, yeah. So the tension of those things I was interested in. Yeah.
What are you doing now? I was going to ask what you're doing in the studio. You may have a studio where you are.
Yeah, right now, being in Ireland, I live in a rental house here, and the studio is the kitchen table pretty much, and whatever I can find, either in the kitchen or in my natural environment here. So I was mentioning earlier, like I've been working a lot with natural dyes, either things that I can find, pigments to use that are in the kitchen, or like foraging for plants that can be used as dyes, just to kind of play around with pigments for fabric, but also for working on paper, either printing or just painting. So just trying to be kind of resourceful with what I've got. I work a lot digitally, and so I'm like planning projects and making, like book design in my computer, but that gets so unsatisfying to be on the screen all the time. So I have to have these weird, like experimental touching projects like dyes and foraging for making dyes. So that has kept me busy. Yeah. Getting back to drawing or painting. So yeah.
Is walking a portion of that? Is that like going in and foraging is part of I don't
Mhm.
know, we're all sort of in a shelter in place mode, so I'm wondering if it's just the, daily trying to get out a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can go up to 2 kilometers, so up to a mile from our home right now. So that's as far as we can walk. So I go out and I try to see. It's a good way to start learning about the plants in Ireland too. Is just trying to figure out what I'm seeing when I'm out, if it's something that I could possibly work with. So it's been kind of an interesting constraints as an artist, but that's kind of what we work with as artists. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The next question is more about like what you have coming up, where we can see your work normally, all of those things. And I know we're sort of in this place of uncertainty, so it
Yeah,
just
I mean, it's honestly in some ways, it's true. It's uncertainty. I don't even know right now because I have a show that's scheduled in February in Pendleton at the Pendleton Arts Center, which is in Oregon, not too far away from Seattle. But I don't know what the of things will be for a lot of galleries, if they're going to still be open or if they're going to close or what's going to happen. So right now on my website's probably the best place to see a lot of my work. And I'll just kind of keep posting things there. So
what are you doing for fun that's outside of your work?
the walking's pretty fun. That's a good thing. And I do a lot of baking. Anything that's like hands-on, away from a screen for a while, is nice. So
It's nice to talk to you, so thank you so much for
oh,
this.
thank you, Amanda. Thank you.